Hello. Hey, what's going on, everyone? We're over here looking at the board, kind of updating some stuff. Liquid IV, bloody build, sold. Vader here, which I erased the done part because, I guess at this point I had it completely figured out. We were setting up the SSD, putting all the last stuff on there, and then a couple of the fans I noticed went out. It could have happened a little while before that. I don't know. We did a temperature test not long before that, like the day before, and everything was fine. So, okay gear is just okay. It lasted about a year. Haven't ordered new fans for it yet. Got to decide exactly which ones. I think I'm going to do the regular UV clear Ace 40mm fans, replace all those. But I need some other things from that website as well, and it's one of those things, not going to pay double for shipping, ordering something a couple days apart. What else? Pizza Planet. That's the first thing we're going to look at here in just a second. Snoop, kind of committed to doing the second 420 build, like Snoop Dogg theme specifically. Halloween build and Chrome SpongeBob. We're still kind of figuring out between these two. One's going to be water cooled. I would really like to do a water cooled, 420 situation. And we're not 100% settled, but I think this one's probably going to be the JTAG Blades Zephyr. And so yeah, it would be one of these two, water cooled, but got a little bit of a variety going on in the next few builds. Toy Story. More specifically, the Hot Wheels Premium Disney Pixar Toy Story Metal Pizza Planet truck, part of the Real Riders Club. Very detailed except for the actual truck. Now it's presumed to be a Toyota because of this. I didn't think about this till recently. Did they do this to get around like licensing? Kind of like Grand Theft Auto cars. Is this supposed to basically be a Toyota, but it kind of looks like a Dodge in the front? Anyway, we're painting stuff, and so far, I wanted to do a base coat, obviously, of kind of rust-looking situation, and then we're going to do our yellow over top, and just like the Jawbreaker, kind of sand it in certain areas, see if we can expose it, kind of make it look like this. And as you can see, the top here doesn't have rust. I guess that's presumed to be like an aluminum cover, so it's not really going to rust, but you'll see the paint coming off. And we did that here on these vent pieces in the last video, as well as the top. So I painted some silver and also just went down to the regular gray a little bit in some areas. Also added some tan in there just to make it look like the white. It's a little dirty, I guess. Did the side trim piece for the hard drive, red with white underneath, and obviously sanded it to make it look just as worn. That being said, this stuff is dry. It's ready for some yellow. We've got sweet mango satin sweet mango. We just need to paint a solid color over it. I guess I was going to go into more detail about what we did here, but we put mostly tan over the whole thing as a base coat, I guess all tan. And then we just took a literally flat brown and a satin orange. It might have had a specific name to it. And I sprayed spots of orange and then a little bit of brown on top. Kind of gives it that rust color. And then ignore sort of the splatter. That wasn't really on purpose, but sort of missed it a little bit more orange on top. And I made sure to get the front as well. And that actually definitely looks like corrosion, in my opinion, on the front there. And of course, we got our clear faceplate, or clear yellow. I actually want to hold that over the front to make sure that is going to look how I want it to. I want it to just be painted solid yellow underneath. It's already a yellow faceplate. So this part will have to be masked off while we do the rest of it and sand it. Alright, it's yellow. Pit stop at the zero fuse. I've been messing with it a little bit more. It's actually doing pretty good. So what we did was take off all of the shielding. We took the fan out the back, the shielding out of here, all the shielding out the top. We kind of put the plexiglass pieces in around the sides to block off certain sections so we could kind of control where the airflow was coming in from. But in reality, I think even when we had the fan flipped around with nothing else on it, it was still doing slightly better. But the only bit of shielding we left on here is that right side. You can kind of see that half circle situation, and that's because most of the air is coming in through the back here. So realistically, I think that fan was just kind of in the way. That's pretty much it. So completely open in the back, but you know, it's just green coming out of everywhere. Only spot up here, I didn't want to stick an LED there. That's right where the end of the fan is. Not really a way to put it without having to block off the holes or something like that. We did take the one LED out from here and just left the one up front. I don't know, I like that better. And then we took that other LED and made sure there's one behind each memory card door. And I might have shown in the last video the chrome door on here. Well, it fell off, and to be honest, I just really like the way it looks with nothing there. The way it sits now, the processor's still obviously a lot higher, but it's now capping at about 71. It'll go a little bit above that. I've been gaming on it for about an hour, and it would go back down to about 70, up to 71. And I've said this many times, I'll keep saying it, this is not reading correctly. We've tested it with the temperature gun. Even just feeling it, you know this is not more than double the graphics. It just isn't. That's because this is zero fuse, the CPU's been swapped out, and I've just been told that they can be finicky on how they read, and that's just the only thing that makes sense in this scenario. It is annoying to have a giant fan in the cooling mods and to have that on the processor showing up here. No matter what it actually is, you know, it's just like, oh, it's kind of annoying. But on the flip side of that, all three of these absolutely destroy the water-cooled builds. So I think we are pretty much good to go on this one. I'm still going to tidy up a few things on it. I do need to get a different controller. We can open up here in a second. This should be a lot of 3. Hopefully we got a couple good ones. Everything works on it, but thumbstick is a little lazy. Could only really tell, not in racing games, but like playing FIFA. Could take the chance and do the option of just swapping the motherboard in this one in Vader, and having Vader in here, the RGH 1.2, with this setup, and then trying out this in the water-cooled build, but I just don't know if it's worth it. I mean, I'm sure we could get this a little bit lower to read lower, but if it's already not accurate, I don't really want to obsess over it, and this thing's running great otherwise. It has the 120 gigabyte in here, so now I guess I can just take that 500 gigabyte SSD that I was going to put in Vader, throw it in this one so that this one's done, and then wait for the parts on Vader and have to basically rebuild that whole thing, which honestly I'm not super mad about. There's definitely a few things I would go back and just kind of change, very small things like making sure the monitors are hooked up to the DVD cable instead of along with the power distributor board for all the fans. That way you could have these on and still adjust the fans in dash launch without worrying about these getting 12 volts and definitely frying. Here we've got some fully cooked breaded chicken fries, which is awesome because I'm starving. And I should have opened it more. There we go. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice at least. Kind of individually wrapped. So we have 3 controllers here, 3 wireless controllers. I'll have to check if they were untested or not. I don't think I would have gotten them if they weren't at least in decent shape. First one is, I guess, in decent shape. That one feels normal. This one honestly does feel normal. It looks a little wonky, but that's typically the case. The rubber will get kind of slide to the side or just be all chewed up or worn out, and it'll look like it's off, but then you put a new thumbstick on there and you're like, okay, that feels normal. So it is kind of disgusting. It does have a battery pack, and I believe it was just under $10 per controller after shipping and everything. Second one here looks like another, yeah. Not sure what to do with the rechargeable ones. It would be cool to include a whole like rechargeable pack with like some builds, but I do have one charger and it's a dual charger and only one works, so we'll have to see if we can fix that. That looks nasty. Don't really want to touch it, but oh, it's kind of oily. Does feel normal. This one does appear to be off center, and that one is even grosser. mean, it definitely seems off-center, but it still doesn't feel like totally busted or anything. All our other bumpers and everything seem to work. See if any of them have a charge. Another rechargeable battery pack. It's pretty scratched up. This one is an Elite controller. Got some, red and gray. Actually look to be in good shape. We'll just have to clean those up. This one's definitely good. And yeah, honestly, this one seems good too. They're just all dirty, which is great. Ooh. That one feels a little off. Something might be cracked in there. Hopefully it's not the button itself. Can feel it clicking? Barely. I just think something's off with that bumper. But yeah, hopefully we've got 3 decent controllers here that clean up pretty good. I think our next move is going to be putting a flash drive in here, transferring everything off this hard drive to that so I can put it on the SSD. And while that's going on, we can work on something else. Going to take a little while, not a whole bunch of stuff on here, but why would I put it on the flash drive and then on the SSD, which did show up on this one. I was able to format it. Couldn't really do it on Vader and my own laptop for some reason. It worked on my wife's Chromebook in order to initially format it. But anyway, it worked on this one, but I do want a copy of everything that's on this 120. This is a 500 gigabyte flash drive, and I'm hoping I can kind of just use this to copy onto stuff, just like this. It's time to get this build underway. We've got those top panels painted, the kind of Jawbreaker style stuff. We already know the parts we're using. We had the Waterblock on another build and started to work that one out, but we swapped motherboards. So we're now using the Beta NXC instead of the JTAG blades. I did already take this one apart, just like the slim one when the O-ring snapped very easily. I was worried this one would be in the same boat, and talked with the client, and I'm like, you know what? This O-ring is actually still in great shape. It wasn't leaking before. It definitely isn't brittle like the other one. Went ahead and kind of flexed it around a little bit, made sure it still seemed good, and it's in great shape. So I said, it's up to you if you still want an upgrade, because the guy doesn't just have O-rings. He has ones that would fit the tops he would make, so you'd have to get the top as well. And I'm like, you can either leave it. Obviously, half of it's going to be covered by the DVD drive anyway. Just wouldn't really be that worth it. I mean, even if I could do everything I could to make this space open so you could see at least part of it, there's just a lot of stuff going on here, and we still have the disk drive. So anyway, let's get the heat sinks off of this, get the Waterblock on there, start mapping out where we're going to put stuff so I can get a shell cut and painted. That's kind of the big hurdle on most builds. Once you get your outer part cut, painted and everything, the rest is just kind of wiring and other things, and it's not as stressful feeling like, oh, I got a whole bunch of stuff to do on this build still. So got the Beta tore all the way down. It's time to get it dusted off. It's not too bad. Everything inside here honestly was pretty good. It does have pretty much brand new thermal paste, but we'll wipe it off and put some new stuff on there. Get our Waterblock installed. Little check-in on this guy over here. We're at 88%, and it's pretty much just been right at that temperature the whole time. Waterblock is in. Not much to it. 8 screws. It's all one piece, no X-clamps. Got the DVD drive in place, so we can start to map out exactly. I mean, I kind of already know we have a radiator, a dual 60. We're going to be using the DDC pump. We can't fit the Phobia in the corner like we normally would with the newer boards that have the shorter aluminum caps. And we're going to be using this giant reservoir here. Now, what would be really cool is this pretty much fits exactly in place of the DVD drive. However, in this scenario, we are keeping the DVD drive. It is kind of important in this build. It is also flashed, so it's a little more useful. And that's kind of the whole point of this Waterblock here, was made to fit under the disk drive. Now again, this could probably fit in its place, and the ports go on either side of the Waterblock. It would be pretty much perfect. This does kind of have to be, I'd say either in this or this orientation. This here is your outlet, and we need to keep in mind this being laid down versus vertical. That outlet needs to be the lowest point. So if it's like back this way, which would probably be the most ideal, have the propeller up front there, it would work when it's laying down, but in the upright position, it's got to suck water out of that port here that's now all the way at the top. And clearly there's going to be some external stuff going on with this one. The reservoir, the pump will be kind of half internal, external. Like the actual pump will be inside, but the top will be sitting right here, pretty much flush. Well, not quite as flush with the reservoir, but close to it. And at least with it in this direction, our ports are this way, and we can kind of keep the external tubing hopefully all in one little spot here. Also need to keep in mind the pump's got the ports on one side right next to each other, and the inlet's kind of in the middle, outlet on this side, so I guess we can kind of have it mounted here, and our outlet obviously wants to go straight into the pump first, and then out of the pump we can just kind of go straight down in, go through the radiator, water block, and then the only other thing we need to make sure is coming back out next to the pump, making sure there's room to go right back into the reservoir. And I think our best bet here, even though it really seems like we should mount the pump to the top shell, but that's going to be very difficult with connecting tubings with assembly. We could mount the reservoir right to the top of the DVD drive, and then just cut a hole in the shell so that it slides over top when we put it on there. It would be nice to do that as well to the pump. And if we do that, we need some L brackets that can kind of mount to the sides. So it'll kind of mount into those without blocking where the pump is, and have it like this, and same thing, just have a cutout so that the whole shell just slides over top. Just like Vader. Vader is a fully intact loop. You can take the full shell off without having to like drain anything. We know Mr. JR likes to take things apart, so every time I line it up here, I always forget how big this pump actually is. It doesn't look like it would cover that, but since we have two fans there, I mean, that could be enough, but it would be nice if we can get the pump somewhere over here and still have a third one of these, now that I have three of them, as like kind of an intake over here, exhaust over there, or vice versa. I am really excited to start on this, so let's do this first. This is all ready to go. Here's our corroded side panels here. Then we also have the top and bottom vents we already did. Started sanding on this. I think I might actually go down to a tougher grit at first. I think I just used regular, or no, it was 2000. But we might go down to 1000, try to get some more scratches out. And then we'll either kind of leave it frosted, we'll see how it looks. Maybe even put like one of those clear coat color shifts on it or something like that, we'll see. I've also got the hard drive over here, side panel red that we wore down, and then obviously we're going to put the truck right there. So still have a little bit of figuring out. I think we're going to be good with the pump here, and we should be able to put the radiator either way. If it's going to be mounted on the back, the barbs won't be sticking out too far in to where we can't put like a little 90-degree on it. If it's back here, there'll be plenty of room installed. We went with the kind of brown tinted acrylic. Just looks pretty much limo tint. I'm gonna try this LED strip. It's one of those with the remote that you can change. But this one, if I remember right, whatever you set it to, it's going to stay like that when you turn it on the next time. The other strips I have kind of default to the regular flashing, and I kind of want to use that on the inside window. Together, the LEDs in there, kind of a tight fit because they didn't really want to bend, but I wanted to put it kind of looping around. I feel like half of it is not working. We may have to put one of the other strips in there, which is not a big deal. We already have it hooked into the harness here. We can just kind of splice in to the wires. Or maybe that was a strip that was supposed to be on 12 volts, and that's why it's very dim. Now have the SSD in the infectious hard drive. Got the 120 out of there. Got some more Lego pieces out as well, and we'll show you what we're going to add to the system itself. Put a couple pieces in the back there. Just like, I don't know, fins, sort of fan blade looking deals in the back. Why not? We did take the sticker off the SSD because obviously they kind of go in here upside down, so instead of seeing the nice side of the hard drive, you just see the information sticker. We put it down here just to make sure that info is still available. So we have more of these antenna pieces, slowly losing them, but same ones we used in the hard drive there, kind of cut them. Now, I had the idea of maybe trying to hang them from like the eject button and kind of filling some of this gap randomly by just kind of gluing them together, obviously cutting the ends off, and just making it look like it's like dripping down, I guess, through here. That was an idea. What else? We've got these crystal looking things, and I haven't glued any of these in or anything, but just started stacking them in the corners. Now this side is mainly for to cover the LED, kind of distribute the light a little bit more. I figured I could just put another one or two on the other side. Didn't want to have it in the way of any of the USB ports. So I don't know, maybe we'll put a couple more in there, we'll see. And yeah, we'll try this. And then the last thing, behind this door here, since this one can't really open, I figured I would actually cover that port, like behind the door, with these little vents. I have at least a couple of these. And I'll just kind of put them, long ways across there. Hopefully it should glow a little bit. I don't want to get too crazy with the Lego stuff. I did bring another bin down. But I have a bunch of these little tiles as well. And obviously the point is to not look at it and go, oh, there's Lego on it. Maybe get close and go, oh, wait a minute, is that Lego? That's kind of the deal. So we actually have one more vent, and I think I want to cover both of these, honestly. Even though this one has survived, the XCM ones have like 12 good open and closes before they break. This one's actually ghost case, which lasted up until very recently, at least this one. That's why it's glued shut. This one does still work, but I mean, it's a ticking time bomb. I might as well glue that one shut too and put vents over both of these. Unless you're somebody, let me know in the comments if you're somebody who would get this and go, oh man, I can't plug in my 256 megabyte memory card, then let me know. But I, in all my time, have never used these before, so. This was also another idea I had, unfortunately, because of the space. It doesn't really, it's kind of the same pattern going up, plus I ran out of green ones. I just kind of threw some blue ones in there. And they're not glued in there, I just kind of stuck them in there. And I do want to plug it in real quick just to see what that's going to look like, even though I'm still kind of leaning towards these and just putting some of these in here. I was going to put a couple in the back of the hard drive, but they were just a little too tall. That's why I went with those other pieces. But let's just at least plug it in, see what this looks like. Yeah, it's kind of neat, but I don't know. I don't think I want to go that route. Now I've also got the Ethernet cable plugged in, so hopefully we can download all of our cover art real quick. Got our little crystals coming out of the corners there, and our kind of stained glass, shattered glass, whatever you want to call it, situation going on here. I do really like how that turned out. What do you guys think? Does it look like Lego pieces in there, or... I mean, I guess if you know Lego pieces, you know some of those are, but I guess the only thing we really got left is I'm going to take one of the better controllers and put this shell on that one, and then this should be pretty much all set. I think the next thing we're going to do is throw a clear coat on top of this here. Now I do want to use the more glossy one. I think I'm towards the bottom of the can, which is good because it usually isn't as glossy, and I only want to put one coat on there. And even if it's not a good even coat, I mean, it's going to kind of play into the, clear coat coming off situation. And I don't necessarily want it to be super glossy, but I think at least a little bit of that clear coat will bring a little more depth into some of like the rust spots. Need another can of this blue paint because these just have one coat on them, but I think I actually want to cut a window below and above the star. I was going to put Dallas Cowboys above and below the star, but I'm like, you know what, why don't we just cut a window, then put that in there, and we can have it kind of backlit. And apparently I only have like 2 or 3 of those flashing blue LEDs left that I wanted to put in each point of the star, so I need to get that ordered. We do need a ring of light board for this. We've got some stickers already on the way for this one. Once they're here, we should be able to do the window on the side panel and have this one pretty much done. I really need to sit down and pick exactly where I can put that pump so I can start to get a shallow cut for this one. Once we have everything set up, besides maybe a couple more 90-degree fittings, we should be able to get this one together pretty quick. Controller for that one, which has kind of orange to green color shift on it. Let's go see what those other LEDs look like. And also, I was going to put this on the infectious build over there, but I think this is actually perfect for the Halloween build because, Halloween and it's 20 years old, still working. I realized while putting this one on, there's so much extra before you get to the LEDs. And then even before here, I had a little bit. And this is the controller there. And I just didn't want to try to cram all of this inside the hard drive, even though this will be probably the type of LED strip we put on the inside, which is fine, there's plenty of room. But yeah, I didn't want to do that. All I really have are flashing red. I have a couple flashing blue, but I need to order more of those and more of the RGB ones, which was kind of the original plan. So that one needs to be moved back. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely want to go RGB. And it's going to match the LEDs that go on the side, obviously not this system. We'll probably also sand the bottom half of that. Acrylic as well to help with some distribution of the light, but I think we can just kind of put them closer together under the center of the car. I really like how the paint came out on this. And of course over here as well. So that's it for now. We'll see you guys again when we get some more stuff in the mail. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to not like, comment, or subscribe.